Now, getting back to the process for a minute, how long does the process usually take? And again, on a step-to-step basis, how does the process work again, and how long does it last?
Well, it depends when you start counting and the clock starts running.
Well, people always want to sell the business as quickly as possible so they can get out of town. So.
Well, some do, yes. Others want to retire, and others want to have some fun, and others want to go into other businesses. There are some people I've seen who just closed their original sale and went on and started something else because they just have this entrepreneurial spirit that they consistently use to their advantage. The process can take from a few months to several months. It all depends on several variables. One is the type of company you're dealing with, the amount of internal cleanup that you have to partake in, how long it takes the professionals to get geared up, and then there's the negotiation with the buyer. The buyer may have a lawyer who is not necessarily cooperative, who is not responsive. The buyer himself or herself may be difficult to deal with, a very tough negotiator. And then there may be governmental approvals that are needed and notice requirements under contracts that exist. There may be requirements to comply with the bulk sales law, which requires you to send notices to people, and it has time frames involved. There are many instances, particularly in the nonprofit world, where you have to send notice to the Attorney General of the state of California, and the Attorney General has a period of time to review and question the transaction. So it depends on the type of transaction you're in and how the parties react to each other.
So the other issue probably, and I think you just touched upon it, how can I maximize my, and keep as much money as I can? What kinds of planning do I need to do to minimize my taxes?
Well, if your sale of the company is an exit strategy, and I mean by that the ability to sell the company and have enough money left over after you pay your expenses of the sale and your taxes that are due, you should combine that while you're negotiating the transaction, if you haven't done it before, with very sophisticated estate planning. There are numerous ways that my partners who are very skilled in that area protect the assets of our clients, and they do very interesting structures to help preserve the wealth down past the first generation.
So what kinds of things would you recommend? Anything specific in a general sense?
Well, it's hard to say specifically. In a general sense, you want to possibly create trust for your children and your grandchildren, particularly if your children haven't reached their majority yet. You can try and use various techniques to, before the sale, gift ownership interest to your children or grandchildren. There are generation skipping techniques that are possibly available. It all depends on the size of the estate and the situation that the seller finds himself in and the seller's desires.
Now, are there any plans that, let's say I'm 60, 65, I'm selling the business, I'm doing all the estate planning and the wealth planning that needs to be done. Are there any guarantees that I will be not, well, let's use the word comfortable, to the end of my days, so to speak, so that at the end, by the time I kick off, it'll be one dime back in the bank or something? I mean, is there any way to guarantee that there's, because I think that's a worry of people. If I get to be 90 years old and I don't have any money left, now what do I do? I mean, are there any plans that will sort of guarantee that to the day you die, you're going to be okay?
When you find out, let me know. I don't know of any that will guarantee that when you're ready to go, there'll be only a dime left in your bank account.